What's going on, guys? It's me, StockPicks by Tim. In this video, we're going to just check out the overall market on TradingView, and I'm going to focus in on Indi Semiconductors. We've got some recent news there. I want to show you guys something on the chart. Now, if you don't mind, hit the like, subscribe, ring the notification bell. Definitely appreciate it, and let's go look at TradingView's heat map, see what's going on in the market. And we just have a sea of green today, everything besides health technology, consumer goods, Procter & Gamble, things like that. Not doing the best, but everything else is just doing great. Tesla's up 4%, Apple's up a nice 2%. Definitely have a positive day today, and small caps are absolutely running as well. Now, as I said a second ago, guys, I did want to look over Indi in this video. It's definitely a smaller cap, very slept on, but if you know me, I'm very bullish on the semiconductor space, and Indi stock is my highest conviction play in the semiconductor space. And if you're completely brand new to Indi Semiconductor, they do supply some of the leading auto manufacturers with semiconductor chips. But we're going to get more into Indi in a second here. Let's just check it out on the chart. I do have something I want to show you. Now, we're zoomed out to about the beginning of the year. And since the beginning of the year, this was trying to hold a support in a slow upward kind of a trend. Once it broke from that, we did fall quite a bit more, all the way down to about a base of $5. Our earnings came out, and it just so happened to be that max fear day of the 11th of May, as many of you know. I've mentioned this before, many stocks hit their low point on the 11th, 12th of May. Some have since dropped farther than that. But Indi is one that has held up. And on the 5th, it actually hit a low of 527. We did not break our previous low. This is great to see. And I think Indi at this current price is a hell of a deal. Despite it running up just a little bit recently, I still think it's extremely undervalued. And from a technical standpoint, the MACD is still running up, RSI is still pointing up, and the candles are bullish. But I currently am not expecting very much in this market. I know in this current environment, everything's quick to take profits, everything's quick to sell off. Now, one reason I don't think it's going to create a new low, besides the fact that we just bounced off of that area, is that, earnings came out on that day and absolutely sent this flying. It gapped up. It has already filled that downward gap. Now, when their earnings came out, they gave good guidance, didn't lower guidance or anything like that. Their earnings, when it actually came out, that revenue was on the upper end of their expectations, as they previously announced about a month before earnings. They did say that they expect to be on the high end of their expectations for earnings, and sure enough, they were right. They weren't lying. Definitely like Indi at this current price. I am a long-term investor on it. Even from a short-term perspective, it does look a bit bullish. So the uptrend has just started, guys. Keep an eye on this trend line. Once we break from this trend line, it's possible we fall further. But until then, there's no reason to think that this trend won't continue. Alright, well, that's the chart, and now I've got some recent news for you here. And this came out on the 5th of July here. We got news that Indi Semiconductor launched the most integrated USB programmable controller. And in a nutshell, what this essentially does is this reduces the component count, which simplifies the design even further and improves the reliability of on-cabin USB charging. So from a pricing standpoint, being, imagine an auto manufacturer looking for this product, they're definitely going to go with something like Indi's product because it's simpler, it's more efficient, it's less moving parts, and its longevity is longer than the average USB port. But I'll mention this quote here, and then I'll just leave the article for you guys below. At Indi, we're creating innovative technologies to meet the increasing demand for personalized in-cabin user experiences. This was said by Michael Whitman, the vice president. Drivers and passengers expect to be able to charge phones, laptops, tablets, other battery charged devices conveniently and safely. Our highly innovative solution allows OEMs to meet current and future USB charging requirements with fewer components and reduced design complexity. We're excited to be working with multiple tier 1s and OEM customers to bring Indi 87300 based solutions to high volume production in early 2023. So early 2023 is when this product should be rolling out, but this supports Apple and Samsung charging schemes. But here we have Indi innovating, continuing to make better and better products. And if you guys want to learn more about Indi, I highly recommend you go over to StockTwits. There is actually a lot of people there that have some good information. And here's a great statement, for example, from Steve on StockTwits here. Basically, they say that currently to have USB power, you'd have to buy a chip from NXP, a MOSFET from Infineon, and I'll give you a note about Infineon in a second here. That's just an interesting side note. Something else from ON Semiconductor, etc. Then qualify the design for autos. So Indi's design makes it far easier. Like we said, less components, less moving parts, simply a better design. So thank you, Steve, for the insight. Definitely recommend you guys check out StockTwits. There are some great people on there. And this isn't very important, but it's just something interesting that I picked up on. He said Infineon. Well, one of Indi's executives actually worked with Infineon. And for those of you unfamiliar with this slide here, I've showed this previously. But everyone circled here, there's 4 execs circled here. This designates that they've actually worked together for over 20 years. I think that's huge. That's another very, very positive thing for Indi, that we have a executive team that knows their way around semiconductors. And you'll see that those 4 have worked together with Axiom. So Tom Schiller and Donald McClement, the CEO, both worked at Skyworks. Interesting to see. They must have worked some kind of deal to sell Axiom. But I think that proves something regarding the executive team over at Indi. They've obviously previously created a successful company with Axiom, since someone like Skyworks would purchase it. And that just gives me a little more faith in Indi that, you know, they have history with semiconductors. They know what they're doing. We got some great names up here. You know, we've got Broadcom, Qualcomm, even Motorola, Cirrus Logic. I mean, these guys are clearly extremely experienced. And I also recommend you look into Ichiro Aoki. He is extremely smart. I mean, he has an extensive amount of patents. And you know, if anyone's going to be successful in the semiconductor industry, specifically autos, it's going to be Indi. Mark my words on that. That's it for today, guys. What do you think about Indi? Make sure you leave me a comment below and enjoy the rest of your day.